As the most powerful demon lord in this world, he is severely injured and dying with only 3 days left to live. Not only is he currently under siege by tens of thousands of experts from the righteous path, even his 9 most trusted disciples, whom he painstakingly cultivated, are constantly plotting to betray their master and annihilate their sect. The eldest disciple, Yu Zhenghai, after leaving the sect, founded the Netherworld sect, claiming to be the #1 demonic sect. The second disciple, Yu Shanrong, has become a fearsome sword demon that terrifies people at the mere mention of his name. He readily engages in slaughter at the slightest provocation. The sixth disciple, Yi Tianxin, is the beloved princess of the Yenyu Palace, revered by numerous female cultivators, known as the Fairy Shura. The seventh disciple, Siwuya, has an intelligence network that spans the entire world. He once instigated a great war using his tactics of sowing discord, causing countless deaths and injuries. The eighth disciple, Zhu Honghong, achieved the title of Evil King within just a few years after leaving the mountain. The ninth disciple, Xia Yuaner, was the latest to join the sect, and still retains some conscience at present. Lu Zhou slowly opened his eyes, and fragmented images appeared in his mind. In his previous life, he was a high-ranking executive, but now he has transmigrated into the body of the demon lord Ji Tiandao. Through his memories, he learned that, a month ago, the top 10 experts of the righteous path set a trap, besieging the demon lord Ji Tiandao. Ji Tiandao fought against them single-handedly, resulting in a stalemate and severe injuries. Nowadays, experts from the righteous path are at his doorstep, preparing to launch a strong offensive on his stronghold. Unfortunately, he has lived for nearly 1,000 years, which is close to the limit of a cultivator's lifespan. As he grows older, his deterrent power diminishes as well. 5 of his 9 disciples have consecutively betrayed him, posing a great challenge to his authority. Thinking of this, Lu Zhou couldn't help but laugh and cry. His body is now extremely weak, and just as he was about to get up, he sat back down. When the people outside the pavilion saw their master waking up, they hurriedly approached him. The 4th disciple, Ming Shirin, reported the current situation. It won't be long before the experts from the righteous path break through the defensive barrier. The 3rd disciple, Duan Musheng, frowned, and said he wanted to go out and ask the eldest senior brother for help. Considering their master-disciple relationship, he shouldn't ignore him. The 5th disciple, Zhao Yu, also suggested that they could seek help from the 7th junior disciple. Not only is he cunning, Lu Zhou interrupted them and spoke up. The barrier of Jinting Mountain is strong enough to hold for a while. Although Lu Zhou was extremely anxious, he forced himself to remain calm and scolded them. He couldn't reveal the secret of his cultivation being scattered now. Otherwise, before the righteous path could kill him, these 4 disciples would have taken his life first. Disperse now. I have my own plan to deal with the enemy. Upon hearing this, the 4 disciples immediately left. At this moment, Lu Zhou finally breathed a sigh of relief. He had no plan to deal with the enemy. He just wanted some peace and quiet. With these 4 ungrateful people ready to pounce at any moment, along with the countless righteous cultivators outside, and Lu Zhou's own feeble body, just as he was despairing and cursing his fate, he suddenly heard the voice of the system. Detection of host completing the task. Mission to pass on teachings and inheritances completed after 1,000 years. Merit system officially activated. Upon hearing this, Lu Zhou's heart trembled. He suddenly understood why Ji Tiandao worked hard to train 9 disciples. What a pity it was. Working hard all his life, sewing clothes for others to wear at their weddings, triggering the main quest retreat from the enemy. Detected that the host is too weak. Rewarding with a newbie gift package. Would you like to open it? This series of prompts pleased Lu Zhou. Obtained a reversal card, which can restore a portion of vitality. Obtain 3 peak state cards. Each use grants 30 minutes of Ji Tiandao's peak state. Obtain 5 fatal block cards. Passive effect, can block 5 fatal strikes for the host. Lu Zhou didn't think much about it. He took out the reversal card and his mind flickered. In an instant, the vitality of the surrounding vegetation and trees transformed into streams of energy that rapidly surged into his body. At the same time, the 3rd disciple exclaimed, "Such powerful energy! Master indeed has even greater abilities that he hasn't taught us." Little 9. Master always dotes on you the most. What kind of technique is this energy fluctuation? Xia Yuaner looked bewildered at the words. How would I know? His old self is unfathomable. Meanwhile, the voice of a righteous cultivator outside the barrier could be heard. Come out and face your death, those inside. It was Zhou Jifeng, a senior disciple of the Heavenly Sword sect. It is said that he recently reached the Divine Court realm. Just stepping into it. Even if he were to fight one-on-one, he wouldn't be worthy of being my little martial sister's opponent. Unfortunately, they have strength in numbers. While these people are not to be feared, the 10 great experts are the troublesome ones. But to speak rebellious words, If the four of us want to escape, who can stop us? Hearing this, Xia Yuaner became somewhat angry. Senior martial brothers and sisters, have you never considered fighting alongside our master? Xiao Yu replied indifferently. Little martial sister, you joined late, and there are many things you don't understand. Meanwhile, Lu Zhou had been studying the system all this time. After using the reversal card, he felt a renewed vigor coursing through his body. His remaining lifespan was restored to 313 days. But for him, it was still far from enough. He needed to reverse to a youthful state. The decrepit appearance was truly uncomfortable. After pondering for a moment, he slowly walked out of the pavilion. A loud rumbling sound resounded, and Jingting Mountain trembled along with it. The four disciples appeared before him in an instant. Seeing Lu Zhou standing upright, they couldn't help but be surprised. Duan Mushing, who was standing beside them, spoke up. Master, your disciples request a battle. We will undoubtedly annihilate them without leaving a trace. Lu Zhou's eyes narrowed upon hearing this. Duan Mushing's heart trembled at the sight, and he involuntarily lowered his head. I already have a plan to retreat from the enemy. Follow me outside to confront them together. After saying that, Lu Zhou strode toward the formation's perimeter. At this moment, Jingting Mountain had gathered thousands of righteous individuals who were organizing themselves to attack the mountain's defensive formation. The leaders of Jingting Mountain's evildoers listened. You have already been surrounded. Come out and meet your death quickly. The voice of the provocation kept echoing in this world. Lu Zhou stopped his steps near the barrier, watching the cultivators outside while remaining calm and composed. The four disciples, Ming Shirin, felt a jolt in their hearts upon seeing this scene. Why isn't he continuing forward? Luo Changfeng, the head of the Heavenly Sword sect outside, laughed heartily. Haven't seen you in a month, but it seems the old devil ancestor has become younger. Lu Zhou forcefully maintained his composure and reprimanded. Luo Changfeng, you have some nerve. Stop pretending and surrender obediently. The righteous sects of the world will leave you with a complete corpse. On the ground, Zhou Jifeng spoke loudly. You four must be this old man's disciples, right? I'll give you a chance to repent and join the righteous path. Help us, the righteous path. Kill him. Upon hearing this, Ming Shirin disdainfully glanced at him. Enough with the noise. Master, your disciples request a battle. I can't wait any longer to flay and strip the skin off this arrogant brat. Lu Zhou raised his hand and replied, no need. How could the esteemed righteous sects give you the opportunity for a one-on-one duel? Seeing that they were unmoved, Luo Changfeng in the sky continued his taunts. Who doesn't know that the 9 evildoers of Jingting Mountain have committed countless atrocities? Everyone deserves to be punished. Today, the righteous experts of the world join forces to crusade against you. It's your own fault, you bunch of evildoers. Blame no one but yourselves. Upon hearing this, Lu Zhou refuted sternly. Whether it is righteous or evil, I have my own judgment. Even if my disciples make mistakes, I personally punish them. It's not for you to meddle and point fingers. Upon hearing this, Luo Changfeng burst into laughter. Old fool, you have quite the sense of humor. Can you even control your senior disciple, Yu Zhenghai, who leads the Netherworld sect in annexing other sects? Let me ask you again, wasn't it Yu Shanrong who abducted the princess of the western regions? Lu Zhou felt helpless but had to put on a bold face and replied, yes. Luo Changfeng became even more enthusiastic as he continued. 30,000 cultivators died in Rongbei. Wasn't that Siwia's doing? Since you admit it, it's good. Your teaching is lax. The laziness of the master. Do you have anything else to say? At this point, Lu Zhou's gaze burned like fire as he answered. Those who are not our kin do not share the same motive. Those from the western regions are not our kin. And the same goes for those from Rongbei. To hell with your pity and mercy for the different regions. Upon hearing this, Luo Changfeng's cheeks turned red with anger. He no longer argued and said, Old devil, let's see how long you can keep pretending. Take this. Upon hearing this, Lu Zhou walked out of the barrier in big strides. Very well, let me witness your skills. The disciples behind him secretly rejoiced. Let these people test Master's trump cards. Luo Changfeng then blinked to the midair. The swords on his body multiplied and spun in the air. Finally, they converged into a giant sword. Although Lu Zhou seemed calm on the surface, he was actually extremely anxious. He kept his eyes on the item cards on the panel, and realized that the suspicion of these 4 evildoers was growing stronger. Trigger the side quest. People's hearts are revealed by their actions. Let the evildoers show their true colors. At this moment, the power of Luo Changfeng's giant sword converged and completed. Face your death, he shouted loudly, pointing towards the others. Duan Mushing and Zhao Yu frowned deeply, knowing that the old man must not die. If he dies, the techniques and weapons will disappear with him. Just as the giant sword was about to strike, the two of them, who had made up their minds, simultaneously attacked the sword. The gust of wind created by their attacks deflected the sword's edge, hitting the barrier instead. Meanwhile, Lu Zhou immediately turned around and ran back to the barrier, looking extremely embarrassed. Seeing this scene, countless cultivators burst into laughter. Luo Changfeng, standing high above, taunted, "So, this is your skill? It truly amazes me." The leader of the Genie sect also joined in the mockery. The patriarch of villains actually needs his disciples to protect him. What a remarkable phenomenon. Lu Zhou didn't pay attention to their words. Instead, he glanced at the peak experience card once again. Combining the 3 cards gives me an hour and a half. In other words, once I use them, I must finish the battle quickly. Before dealing with the enemy, I must deal with internal issues. If I don't make these evildoers behave, once the time is up, I will be in danger again. With this in mind, his voice involuntarily became louder. "Duan Mushing, how dare you? Who gave you permission to interfere with my affairs?" Duan Mushing's face slightly changed upon hearing this. He hurriedly approached and knelt on the ground, expressing concern for the safety of his master. At this moment, Ming Shirin chuckled. "Master, there's no need for this. You've acted so tirelessly, it should be enough. Brother, please get up." Upon hearing these words, the respectful expression disappeared from Duan Mushing's face, and he slowly stood up. At this point, the evildoers had already guessed from Lu Zhou's previous embarrassed appearance that he was barely holding on. "Master, give up. As long as you pass on the techniques and weapons to us intact, we will do our utmost to help you escape today." Lu Zhou remained silent upon hearing this. After a moment, he slowly spoke up. "Little Nine, what about you?" "Master, your disciple dare not." Little Nine immediately knelt down with a thud. Secondary quest completed. Reward, True Eye of Reality. Effect, permanent. Upon hearing the prompt, Lu Zhou was momentarily stunned. Then a special message appeared before him. Ci Yuaner's loyalty, 60% and increasing. Ming Shirin's loyalty, 15%. Duan Mushing's loyalty, 23%. Zhao Yu's loyalty, 35%. When loyalty falls below 0, they will defect from the sect and become enemies. If it exceeds 80, they are unlikely to defect. Seeing the continuous decrease in loyalty among the 3 evildoers was within his expectations, but the rising trend of Ci Yuaner surprised him. Intentionally, Lu Zhou said, "Since that's the case, there's no need for me to continue pretending. Indeed, I have been injured, but that doesn't mean you can defy me." After speaking, he crushed the peak experience card in his hand, and instantly, a powerful gust of energy surged out. The 3 individuals were struck by the impact, immediately spewing blood and being thrown backward. Only Ci Yuaner remained, wide-eyed and unable to believe everything. It felt as if the entire world had fallen silent. In the moment when the 3 fell to the ground, they quickly rolled and knelt down, shouting in unison, "We know our mistakes, Master." Lu Zhou didn't look at them, took a deep breath, and muttered to himself, "The feeling of being in peak state is truly wonderful." It felt as if everything was under control. Everyone before him turned into insignificant ants. With just a gentle flick of his finger, he could crush them. A gust of energy erupted, soaring into the sky. The crumbling barrier shattered completely. The top 10 righteous experts glared angrily, unable to believe their eyes. Wasn't he injured? How could he release such a powerful surge of energy? The cultivators who had mocked Lu Zhou earlier couldn't stop their legs from trembling. The 3 evildoers quickly realized their mistake, kneeling down in a panic and shouting in unison, admitting their wrongdoing. Lu Zhou coldly stared at them, disobeying the master, a severe punishment. After speaking, golden light emanated from his fingertips. With a bang, the group crashed into a distant mountain peak. "I'll deal with you later." Lu Zhou observed that there were 29 minutes remaining. Teaching the 3 evildoers a lesson was just a matter of moments. Before long, he would face the thousands of cultivators and the top 10 righteous experts. "Let me see how much progress you have made in this month." As Lu Zhou's voice fell, he gathered strength and charged into the air. 100 tribulations of the underworld Dharma body. With a loud shout, a golden halo surrounded the manifested Dharma body. Each rotation of the 8-leaf golden lotus below released a gust of energy. Seeing this, Luo Changfeng hurriedly called on other experts to block it together. After a moment, the 10 interconnected Dharma bodies formed a wall in the center of the battlefield. Within a radius of 100 miles, the area was illuminated by the 11 Dharma bodies. Other cultivators quickly retreated, taking cover behind the Dharma bodies. However, some weaker individuals suffered heavy injuries due to their delayed retreat. Observing this, Lu Zhou snorted coldly. "Do you like using swords? Then I'll use a sword too." Imperfect Heaven's Favor, a dazzling long sword condensed between his index and middle fingers. Duan, mushing on the ground, instinctively raised his head, suddenly trembling all over, because he recognized this as the Heavenly Oneness technique, one of the most powerful moves. For so many years, he had been diligently practicing swordsmanship, aiming to master the Heavenly Oneness technique to perfection. But unfortunately, Ji Tiandao had been unwilling to teach him the final sword. He never expected to encounter it in this situation. At this moment, the three of them realized how terribly wrong they were. Not only could their master effortlessly display the Dharma body, but he could also execute the imperfect heaven's favor. What's even more terrifying is that the power of imperfect heaven's favor would multiply under the influence of the Dharma body. Luo Changfeng naturally understood this as well. He hurriedly called on the other experts to retreat, realizing that if they didn't, all 10 of them would suffer severe injuries. Never did he expect that this old thief's strength would be even stronger than before. At this moment, Lu Zhou's figure hovered in front of the Dharma body, as if the two had merged into one. Then, with his sword in hand, he instantly unleashed a powerful sword light, descending upon the crowd. The weak cultivators who couldn't dodge in time were immediately cleaved in half. Following a loud rumbling sound, mountains, rivers, and lakes were split in two by the sword wave. The top 10 righteous experts had already moved aside long ago. Although the old demon could use the Dharma body to contend with 10 opponents, it was unlikely for him to execute other powerful techniques. But now, he was going all out with his ultimate move. What's crucial is that the old demon's expression still appeared relaxed. Realizing the severity of the situation, a sense of dread arose within their hearts. Indeed, it seemed effortless. Lu Zhou discovered that the peak experience card truly lived up to its name. Every time he expended his abilities, the energy within his body instantly reached its peak again. Imperfect heaven's favor claimed the lives of hundreds of individuals, leaving the cultivators, both small and large, frightened and scattering away. Lu Zhou didn't stop them because his target was the top 10 righteous experts. Want to run? Unfortunately, you're too slow. As soon as the words fell, he disappeared from the spot like lightning. In midair, only remnants of his figure remained. Several evildoers were dumbfounded. This is the divine technique Blink. Blink allows one to appear at a certain location in an extremely fast time, making it an excellent means for pursuit or escape. The only drawback is that it consumes a tremendous amount of vitality. It's over, third junior brother. We should escape quickly. Master keeps using powerful moves in succession. I never expected him to be able to use such an ultimate move. Clearly, he has such formidable strength. Why did he hide it all this time? Isn't that deceiving us? Senior brother, senior sister, listen to my advice. Stay here honestly. Our master possesses a divine technique. You won't be able to escape. Upon hearing Xia Yuaner's words, despair filled the hearts of the three individuals. Meanwhile, Luo Changfeng was riding the wind, swiftly maneuvering through the forest. He occasionally looked back, seeing no one following him. Finally heaved a sigh of relief. But at that moment, he suddenly felt a chilling sensation on his back, followed by a familiar voice. I've been waiting for you for a while. How come you're only here now? Seeing the other party's embarrassed appearance, Lu Zhou chuckled. What happened to your arrogant demeanor just now? Luo Changfeng heard this and broke out in a cold sweat, secretly feeling miserable. Who is the old man not pursuing? Yet he's pursuing me. He forced himself to speak, suppressing his fear. You've already used up so much of your power. If you continue, you will only exhaust yourself, he said. But as soon as he finished speaking, Lu Zhou once again transformed into his Dharma body. I only know one ultimate move, he declared. With that, he controlled his overwhelming Dharma body, as if covering the sky, and immediately pressed it down. In the cultivation world, there are few cultivators who can master the 100 tribulations profound Dharma, and if they can achieve the 8-leafed golden lotus, then they are even more rare. Under the immense pressure, Luo Changfeng had no power to resist, coughing up blood and suffering internal injuries. At this moment, he was filled with immense fear. What's the point of playing with infinite ultimate moves? Following a loud bang, the ground trembled incessantly. The Dharma body, carrying a fierce wind, crashed down like a towering mountain. After the smoke dispersed, Luo Changfeng had turned into ashes, not a trace remaining. After dealing with the powerful enemy, Lu Zhou realized there were still a few minutes left. There's no time to chase after the others now. I still have to deal with those few scoundrels. Even if I catch up, I'll only kill a few more people. It would be disastrous once the effect of the experience card wears off. Completing the preliminary task, the next mission was to discipline the evildoers and increase disciple Xia Yuaner's loyalty to over 80% while punishing 3 evildoers. Then, Lu Zhou hurriedly used his supernatural power and quickly returned to Jinting Mountain. The moment he landed, the peak experience time also came to an end. Feeling the energy in his body dissipate, Lu Zhou felt a sense of loss. This kind of power is truly exhilarating. I wonder how long it would take to reach that realm through my own cultivation. Who can an old guy like me defeat now? I need to be cautious, not letting others see through me. With these thoughts in mind, he slowly approached the 3 evildoers. At this moment, the 3 individuals knelt on the ground, trembling in fear, and their loyalty levels began to recover to varying degrees. However, it was still far from enough. Lu Zhou ignored the 3 of them and looked at his youngest disciple, Yuan. I'm tired. Help me back. Upon hearing this, Little Nine immediately ran over joyfully and supported him to leave this place. Watching the master walk away, Duan Mushing started to complain to Old Four. You really caused me a lot of trouble. What? How is this my fault? I carefully analyzed it and confirmed that the master was injured. Who knew it would turn out like this? I miscalculated a bit. What did you miscalculate? Maybe the master got tired of his old tricks and wanted to try something new. Should we escape now? Escape? How can we escape? Didn't you see the master display his power? Meanwhile, in the pavilion on the mountain, Lu Zhou took a sip of tea and spoke up. You know you're wrong. Upon hearing this, Little Nine immediately knelt down on the ground. Little Nine knows I'm wrong. I shouldn't have disobeyed the master. Master, please believe that I've always been well behaved. After hearing this, Lu Zhou coughed lightly. What I'm talking about is not this matter. At the end of the year, did you leave Jinting Mountain and steal the ancient books of cultivation from 2 great sects? Yes or no? The reason he asked this was because there was no motive found in Ji Tiandao's memories for Yuan to do such a thing. Disciple knows I'm wrong. 4th senior brother said that those who can't make it onto the sinister list are not worthy of being disciples of Jinting Mountain, so I went. Sinister list? Lu Zhou's face slightly changed upon hearing this. There was also no information about this in his memories. Yuan continued to explain, it's a ranking established by cultivators. The list is full of cultivators who have committed numerous evils. Master, you're ranked first, and senior brothers and senior sisters are all in the top 30. After hearing this, Lu Zhou was speechless. Then he let out a sigh. Get up, Yuan, you are the disciple I cherish the most. From now on, you must not commit any more evil deeds. Understand? Yuan, who received forgiveness, was overjoyed and ran behind him, pinching his shoulder. Later, Lu Zhou called the other 3 evildoers. The loyalty levels above their heads improved slightly, but they were still very low. As long as there were any slight changes, they would revert back like grass on a wall. The 5th disciple, Zhao Yu, was the first to beg for mercy. It's all the disciples' momentary confusion. I beg for the master's forgiveness. Seeing someone take the lead, Duan Mushing and Ming Shirin followed suit. The disciples have been with this sect for 100 years. Even if we have no merits, we have worked hard. We plead with the master to spare our lives in consideration of our 100 years of diligence. Lu Zhou stood with his hands behind his back, not looking at them. After a long silence, he finally asked them about their rankings on the sinister list. Duan Mushing answered that he ranked 18th, Ming Shirin ranked 25th, and Zhao Yu ranked 28th. What a group of good disciples. You have tarnished my reputation. Upon hearing this, the 3 of them trembled and quickly admitted their mistakes. At this moment, Lu Zhou suddenly changed the topic. Now that you know you're wrong, you must change. From now on, you must not continue to commit evil deeds. Can you do that? Although the few of them couldn't fully comprehend, they still answered in unison, obediently. Lu Zhou stroked his beard and let out a sigh. I also made a mistake. I made a mistake by only teaching you cultivation and not teaching you how to be a good person. It is because of my teachings that you have become such rebellious evildoers. Old 4, now that the barrier of Jinting Mountain has been broken, I will punish you by repairing the barrier. You must not take a single step away. Repairing the barrier will be difficult and may take 8 to 10 years to complete. However, compared to killing them, this punishment is much better. Both of them naturally understood this and eagerly agreed. As for the punishment for the 5th disciple, Zhao Yu, it was to leave the mountain to atone for her sins. Zhao Yu knelt on the ground and did not dare to argue. She just didn't know which sins to atone for. Lu Zhou did not specify and then asked them if they knew what is good and what is evil. Yuan was the first to answer, saying that benefiting others is good, while harming others is evil. Old 4 said that doing good deeds and accumulating virtues is good, while killing and setting fires are evil. Old 4 added that serving the country and the people is good, while assisting in cruelty is evil. Upon hearing this, Lu Zhou shook his head. Their answers were too hypocritical and clearly not what he wanted to hear. Then he pretended to be profound and said a couple of sentences. We may not achieve perfection, but we should have a clear conscience. Upon hearing this, the 4 of them looked confused. Wait, wasn't it just a month ago when Master said that anyone who displeased him should be killed without hesitation? Is that having a clear conscience? We understand, Master. "We will definitely kill those scoundrels who insulted you," Zhao Yu replied. Lu Zhou's beard twisted in anger upon hearing Zhao Yu's response. He felt like he was talking to a brick wall. However, he understood that it would take time to change their mindset. Then he asked Zhao Yu to stay on the mountain to help repair the barrier and warn them that their past actions would not be held against them. "But if they commit another offense in the future, I will not spare them lightly. Since they have entered Jinting Mountain, they are my disciples, and I will protect them." Upon hearing this, the four of them quickly expressed their gratitude and thanks. Their loyalty also increased significantly. Lu Zhou was satisfied with the results of his combination of grace and authority. Then, under his command, the four of them left the place. As he watched their figures disappear, he finally breathed a sigh of relief and opened the system panel. It displayed a reward of 200 merit points for completing the task. Merit points can be used for lottery draws, with one draw costing 50 points. They can also be used in the marketplace to exchange for items, weapons, and techniques, including the powerful Dharma body. However, the prices were outrageously high, with even the cheapest beginner-level Dharma body requiring 300 points. Regrettably, he could only try the lottery system and ended up winning a reversal card. He didn't expect the winning rate to be so high, and he was ecstatic. He planned to save the remaining points to purchase a Dharma body since his current priority was to improve his cultivation realm. Then, the panel displayed a task update reminder to discipline the 8th disciple, Zhu Honghong, and change the current situation. Lu Zhou fell into contemplation upon seeing this. He couldn't casually use the Pete card anymore since his current cultivation was definitely more of a disadvantage than an advantage. He needed to carefully consider his next steps. Having the 3 evildoers by his side was also a trouble. The truth would eventually come out. Currently, only Yuana was the most reliable and loyal. Her cultivation was at the Divine Court realm, making her the most suitable companion. It would also be an opportunity to teach her about being a good person, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. And there was still 1 reversal card to use before making any decisions. With that, he returned to the Evil Sky Pavilion. Meanwhile, at the headquarters of the Tiger Ridge Gang, the person sent to investigate Jinting Mountain brought back news. "However, I only saw 1 Dharma body." Upon hearing this, the fierce-looking Zhu Honghong hastily asked, "What does a Dharma body look like?" "That Dharma body is 10 feet tall and 2 feet wide, surrounded by golden light, with an 8-petaled golden lotus beneath it." Upon hearing these words, he instantly fell from his seat, his face turning extremely ugly. His legs trembled uncontrollably, and he muttered, "Is it really the master? We're done for now." After handling everything, I returned to the Evil Sky Pavilion. The Evil Sky Pavilion is located at the mountaintop and serves as the residence for Ji Tiantao and his disciples. After using the reversal card, Lu Zhou's remaining lifespan also recovered to 613 days, and he appeared somewhat younger. However, he only had 150 merit points left, which was pitifully few. Instead of choosing Ji Tiantao's techniques to cultivate, he planned to exchange for new ones from the system. In his view, a person's propensity for evil was not only a matter of character but also intricately connected to the techniques they practiced. While contemplating, he heard the voice of Cai Yuan seeking an audience from outside. After obtaining permission, she walked in. "Master, you look younger," she said with a smooth tongue. Lu Zhou raised his hand and gently touched her head. Cai Yuan blinked her eyes and immediately flattered him. "Master, you're amazing. You single-handedly forced back the 10 top experts. Only you can do such a thing in the world today. You once said that as long as you have great strength, you can kill anyone you want. So why didn't you kill senior brother and senior sister?" Upon hearing this, Lu Zhou glanced at her, surprised to find that this young girl harbored such dangerous thoughts. "Listen, you need to forget everything that I have taught you in the past. It's best to forget it completely." Cai Yuan mustered up the courage to respond, "Understood. But master, should I also forget the promise you made to me?" "Promise?" Hearing this, Lu Zhou was momentarily stunned because many memories were lost when he transmigrated into this old body. "Master, you said that you will give me the Jade Horsetail Whisk once I make it to the Divine Court realm." Although he didn't remember the specific promise, he knew that the Jade Horsetail Whisk was a heavenly ranked treasure that greatly enhanced the power of cultivators. However, when he transmigrated, all of Ji Tiantao's belongings disappeared, so even if he wanted to give it to her, he couldn't. Therefore, he could only say with a straight face, "Of course, you should forget about it." Seeing Cai Yuan's disappointed expression, he quickly changed the subject and painted another enticing picture. "However, in the future, I will bestow upon you another heavenly ranked treasure." Upon hearing this, Cai Yuan was overjoyed and showed a hopeful look. Then, under Lu Zhou's instructions, she went to deal with the righteous sects lurking near Jinting Mountain. About 10 minutes later, Lu Zhou heard a series of notifications in his ear. Killed 1 evildoer, earned 10 merit points. He arranged it this way because he accidentally discovered that when disciples completed tasks, the master could also obtain merit points from them. Soon, half an hour had passed, and his merit points had accumulated to 300. Currently, he could purchase the apprentice rank Taiji avatar. The moment the purchase was successful, he suddenly felt a surge of energy entering his body, and his realm advanced from the quenched body realm to the mystic enlightening realm. After a brief moment, the energy within his body calmed down. He frowned as he looked at the panel in front of him. Because the next realm requires 1,000 merit points, it's simply a huge pit. At this moment, Xia Yuaner had almost finished tidying up, and the merit points had stopped increasing. So Lu Zhou slowly got up, preparing to stretch his muscles and bones. But just as he was about to leave, a figure wielding a sword like lightning suddenly stabbed him in the back. Lu Zhou quickly reacted and looked back, only to find it was Zhou Jifeng, a senior disciple of the Heavenly Sword sect. Due to the activation of Lu Zhou's passive skill, Fatal Block, he was unharmed. Zhou Jifeng, who had thought he succeeded, was dumbfounded when he saw that Lu Zhou was unscathed. Summoning his courage, he approached again and made another sword strike, but it proved to be useless. Meanwhile, Lu Zhou frowned and stared at him intently. Then, he coldly spoke, "What the fuck are you trying to do? This situation has me on edge. But I can only pretend to be calm and keep an eye on him." Under the terrifying pressure radiating from me, he was so scared that he was on the verge of wetting himself. Lu Zhou understood that he absolutely could not lose in terms of momentum. With a cold snort, he said, "You underestimate your abilities." Zhou Jifeng hesitated for a moment before gathering his determination and charging again. "You killed my master. Even if I die, I will seek revenge." Just as the longsword was only 0.01 centimeters away from its target, a furious shout came from behind. "Whoever has no eyes dares to sneak attack my master." With a loud bang, Xia Yuaner immediately struck, sending Zhou Jifeng flying into a distant wall. "Disciple will tear him apart to help you vent your anger," Xia Yuaner said, her eyes revealing a hint of killing intent. However, Lu Zhou stopped her because he had just received a notification triggering a hidden branch quest. "Turn Zhou Jifeng to your side." He pondered for a moment before slowly speaking, "If I kill your master, it's reasonable for you to seek revenge, but underestimating your abilities is equivalent to seeking death. It serves no purpose." At 9 years old, you reached the quenched body realm. At 13, you entered the sense condensing realm. At 18, the Brahma Sea realm. And at 20, you enter the Divine Court realm. You are an incredibly rare genius in the cultivation world. You could have waited a few more years before seeking revenge. Why did you have to come and court death now? Upon hearing this, Zhou Jifeng felt deep regret. Is it still possible to regret it now? Xia Yuaner, with a disdainful expression, said, "And this is what you call a genius? I became your disciple at the age of 10, and I entered the Divine Court realm at 15 this year." "Don't interrupt," Lu Zhou scolded her with a stern look. Then he turned to Zhou Jifeng and asked, "Do you know why I didn't kill you? Did you really think your master, Luo Changfeng, is an upright gentleman? You arrogant young man. I knew Luo Changfeng even before you were born," Lu Zhou continued. Zhou Jifeng widened his eyes and asked what he meant. "If I tell you that your father's killer is Luo Changfeng, would you believe it?" Hearing this, Zhou Jifeng immediately roared, "You won't succeed in sowing discord. Such despicable tactics won't work on me." Shaking his head, Lu Zhou continued speaking. "When I visited Yi province many years ago, I stopped at the Jiang family for a rest. Coincidentally, the young lady of the family was giving birth. The newborn boy was born with an extraordinary bone structure and amazing talents. I intended to take him in as my disciple. So, I gave his parents 3 days to consider, but regardless of their decision, I had decided to bring the boy with me. However, the next day, the whole Jiang family was slaughtered. It was already too late when I arrived. Later on, the whole cultivation world thought I was the one who slaughtered the Jiang family. I've killed countless people in my life, and one more murder case or one less false charge would not change that fact. All the orthodox cultivators in the world thought I did it, but nobody knew it was actually done by Luo Changfeng. You have a birthmark on your shoulder. When you were born, the inside of your body was wet and cold. Your surname is Jiang, and you are the son of that Jiang family." Zhou Jifeng was momentarily stunned upon hearing this. Very few people knew about the birthmark. How did this old devil know? "I see that you are too young. If I were to tell you the whole truth, I'm afraid you wouldn't be able to handle the pressure. It doesn't matter. You may leave." Upon hearing this, Zhou Jifeng still didn't believe it and roared loudly, calling him an old devil. Xia Yuaner's expression turned cold in an instant. "If you dare to defame my master, believe it or not, I will kill you right now." Before she finished speaking, Zhou Jifeng immediately closed his mouth. "It seems that you can't be too gentle with people like him." Lu Zhou chuckled. "Your master, Luo Changfeng, destroyed the Jiang family, dishonored your mother, and took you away. 30 years ago, he broke through the nascent divinity tribulation realm. The realm is divided into 3 major stages: Tao Primal, Chaotic Primal, and Tao Fusing. In the Tao Fusing stage, there is a way to advance. With a powerful cultivation base, a Tao Fusing expert can devour another person's energy essence and cultivation base, and fuse them as one. That is why the stage is called Tao Fusing. In the whole Heavenly Sword sect, only your cultivation path is exactly the same as Luo Changfeng's. Do you still think there's nothing wrong with him? If you still don't believe it, ask your master when you go back. See you honor, send him away. Master, are you just letting him go like this? He attacked you. Outrageous. A reprimanding shout frightened Xiao Honor, making her stomp her foot. She then dragged the still bewildered Zhou Jifeng towards the window. Foolish pig, does my master need to lie and deceive you? It would be better to kill you directly. She tossed him from the upper floor to the ground, while Zhou Jifeng instinctively murmured, I don't believe it. System prompt, failed to complete the mission of persuading Zhou Jifeng. Lu Zhou, seeing this, had a helpless expression and thought, what an idiot. Xiao Honor, puzzled, asked him why he didn't kill the opponent. Lu Zhou stood up with his hands behind his back and explained, killing is not the only way to solve problems. But just now, Master asked me to go down the mountain and kill many orthodox cultivators. Upon hearing this, Lu Zhou stroked his beard and said, killing is not the only solution, but it is always one of the options. Before he could finish speaking, he suddenly received another prompt from the system. His disciple was engaging in evil deeds, and corresponding merit points would be deducted. Merit points can still be deducted? What kind of nonsense is this? Lu Zhou exclaimed. Immediately, he instructed Xiao Honor to gather a few disciples. Before long, everyone had assembled in the room. Lu Zhou frowned and stared at them. Speak up, what were you all doing just now? Ming Shirin hurriedly answered, we were listening to your instructions and patrolling near Jinting Mountain. We didn't do anything. After listening, Lu Zhou said calmly, you should know your master's temperament. I dislike lies the most. Ming Shirin's face turned pale, and he quickly admitted his mistake. Some hunters came to the southern part of the mountain. Jinting Mountain is off limits. I will go and kill them all. As he turned to leave, Lu Zhou stopped him with a reprimand. The barrier of Jinting Mountain hasn't been repaired yet. It's normal for someone to enter by mistake. Just drive them away. If you find anyone with malicious intent, then you can take action. The disciples respectfully obeyed their master's command. They said, we will follow your orders, master. After they finished speaking, they looked at each other and left Evil Sky Pavilion. Although they were not accustomed to such a gentle master, they learned from their past mistakes. Perhaps their master was trying a new approach, and they dared not disobey his commands. Not long after, while resting, Lu Zhou heard the voice of the system. You have saved 5 innocent lives. Reward, 150, merit points. Received worship from 14 individuals, 14 merit points. Received devout worship from 1 person, 10 merit points. Prompt, devout worship grants a 10x bonus. Upon hearing this, Lu Zhou immediately opened his eyes. Can it be played like this? Why didn't you notify me earlier? You honor, where are you? Go inform your master and senior sister. The innocent must be treated well. Soon, it was dawn. The scene shifted to the headquarters of the Tiger Ridge Gang. One of the subordinates hastily reported, we received a reply from the Yanyu Palace. Zhu Honghong, who was taking a bath, became delighted and asked, what does the letter say? The palace master of the derived Moon Palace said that since the old villain of the Golden Court Mountain was able to kill Luo Changfeng, the sect leader of the Heavenly Sword sect, with one move, it means his cultivation base has recovered. Therefore, she cannot help you. You have the lowest strength, so make sure to hide well, Zhu Honghong was told. Upon hearing this, Zhu Honghong slipped and fell to the ground. Meanwhile, Lu Zhou received a prompt. Educating Zhu Honghong, 50 merit points. He looked at the panel with confusion. I didn't do anything. I've been accumulating just over 200 merit points in these few days. It's like a drop in the bucket for items worth thousands of points. Well, let's draw a lottery. Having made up his mind, he began to operate. This lottery costs 50 merit points and rewards a whitesword. Upon hearing this, Lu Zhou's eyes widened with excitement. He didn't expect to draw such a rare item. Whitesword is the only permanent mount. Looking at the god beast mount Whitesword that he successfully tamed with a single draw, Lu Zhou felt very proud at this moment. After all, he was an old villain who had lived for 1,000 years. Surely, he had accumulated many things. But now, I have replaced Ji Tian now. I have nothing on me and I'm very poor. Those who could not catch demon beasts or wild beasts as mounts would find ways to craft flying chariots or learn the art of flying swords so that they could fly in the air. But none of these were as impressive as an actual mount. If it were in modern times, a Weitzer would be equivalent to the most luxurious car. The higher the level of the wild beast a person controlled, the stronger he would naturally be. With a slight movement of Lu Zhou's mind, Weitzer disappeared from the spot in a flash. This scene also stirred up waves in the hearts of several evildoers. Did my eyes deceive me? It seemed like an extremely powerful energy just now. You're not mistaken. I also felt the new technique he used. He intentionally concealed his evil aura. Let's just pretend we didn't see it. Then, Lu Zhou drew 3 more times in succession, and each time, he received the response, "Thank you for your patronage." This made him helplessly shake his head. As expected, it's all a trick, but considering the benefits, it's already worth it. Meanwhile, at the foot of Jinting Mountain, 3 men on horseback appeared. One of them sighed, "I hope this old devil will help our clan survive this disaster for the sake of Yuan." Then they continued to move forward in the mountain forest. At this moment, a voice suddenly sounded in the air. "Who dares to intrude into Jinting Mountain?" Hearing this, the 3 immediately knelt down on one knee. The CI family from the city of Anyang offers greetings to the experts of Evil Sky Pavilion. As soon as the words were spoken, Ming Shireen had already arrived here from 100 meters away. CI family? Old 4, the CI family from the city of Anyang is Junior Sister's clan, Duan Mushing explained. After listening, Ming Shireen pondered for a moment. I understand. Luckily, I didn't act directly. According to Master's new approach, we should treat them kindly. Besides, they are Junior Sister's family. Thinking of this, he smiled slightly and walked forward to help them up. The leader of the group was immediately scared, with cold sweat dripping from his forehead. "Since you are Junior Sister's relatives, then you are family. Come, don't be nervous," he said. The 3 men naturally knew the notorious reputation of Evil Sky Pavilion and quickly waved their hands, saying, "We dare not, we dare not." Seeing this, Ming Shireen's face instantly turned extremely ugly. "You won't accept my toast, then you shall taste the penalty. Hurry up and bring them up the mountain to await punishment," he commanded. A moment later, Lu Zhou received a report from his disciple. The CI family from the city of Anyang seeks an audience. Lu Zhou took a sip of tea and allowed them to enter. Not long after, the 3 men were kneeling and trembling on the ground. He glanced at them and said calmly, "I have set a rule. Once someone joins Evil Sky Pavilion, their family and friends are not allowed to have contact. CI Yuaner, do you remember?" Upon hearing this, CI Yuaner quickly responded, "Disciple will send them away immediately." At this moment, the manager of the CI family looked up at her and started crying. "Miss, I am CIN. I finally get to see you. Master and Madam are in trouble." Hearing this name, CI Yuaner was somewhat surprised. She was only 10 years old when she left home, and 5 years had passed, so her memories were somewhat blurry. Duan Mushing and Zhao Yu didn't take it lightly and angrily reprimanded, "How dare you? This is not a place for you to cry. If it weren't for the fact that this person is a relative, I would have sewn his mouth shut long ago." CI Yuaner worried about her family. They fell to the ground and cried out, "Master." Ming Shireen's eyes flickered, and he respectfully said, "Master, rules are made by people. Junior Sister's family is our senior brother's family. When family members are in trouble, if we don't lend a hand, we are worse than pigs and dogs." Duan Mushing and Zhao Yu also echoed, bowing their heads in agreement. Lu Zhou nodded slightly after listening. There is some truth to that. However, Evil Sky Pavilion doesn't interfere in every matter. Exactly, Master. As the unparalleled powerhouse, you don't need to bother with trivial matters. Ming Shireen took over the conversation and praised him excessively. The other 2 immediately rolled their eyes at Old 4's blatant flattery. Then CI Yuaner gave a signal to the manager, and CIN hesitated for a moment before hurriedly explaining the situation. The CI family has been minding their own business and conducting trade in the city of Anyang. A month ago, our trade caravan was robbed by a gang of mounted brigands while passing through a river valley. We paid them some money to avoid trouble, but they didn't stop there. They attacked us in Anyang, took everything, and kidnapped over 100 people as hostages. We reported the incident to the authorities, but as soon as they heard about the mounted brigands in the river valley, they immediately turned us away. They didn't dare to help us. It is said that this gang of mounted brigands is backed by cultivators. After finishing the story, everyone looked at Lu Zhou. According to his previous habits, Evil Sky Pavilion would never intervene in such matters. But circumstances change, and now it involves Junior Sister's family. Before Lu Zhou could speak, Ming Shireen stepped forward. "Master, please allow me to make amends for my past actions by doing good deeds. Junior Sister's family is in grave danger, and as her senior brother, I can't just ignore it. Yes, you have grounded me, but this is a special circumstance. and I hope you can let me help them." Upon hearing this, the other two felt speechless. Old Four was truly shameless. After a moment of contemplation, Lu Zhou agreed. This matter should have been handled by Xia Yuan herself. However, she is young and lacks restraint when taking action. Since you, as her senior brother, are willing, then I'll leave it to you. You have 3 days to handle it. Ming Shirin was overjoyed upon hearing this and vowed not to disappoint his master. He turned into a streak of light and quickly left the place. Xia Yuan accompanied them down the mountain, Lu Zhou instructed. Although your fourth senior brother is infatuated with the outside world, he is serious in his actions and likes to use his brain. With his temperament, he will solve the problem within a day. No need to worry. Xia Yuan agreed and led the 3 people out. When Zhao Yu heard his master calling for him, he quickly responded, "Here, I'm giving you 2 days to investigate the Heavenly Sword sect, especially their senior disciple Zhou Jifeng," Lu Zhou ordered. Zhao Yu's face showed a pleased expression as she replied, "Understood. I will complete the mission." Lu Zhou sipped his tea and was satisfied with his arrangements. He still needed to continue to win him over, so he needed to keep an eye on him. Ever since the assassination attempt by Zhou Jifeng, his 3rd and 9th disciples had been guarding the outside like door gods. Although they believed that Lu Zhou had enough strength to withstand assassins, it was their negligence that allowed those small fry to infiltrate Jinting Mountain. "Master, is the 4th senior brother really okay?" Xia Yuan couldn't help but ask. Duan Musheng, who was nearby, answered first. Although Old Four is playful and sometimes unreliable, he always goes all out when it comes to tasks. "Junior sister, you can rest assured. If he forgets, there's no need for the master to intervene. As his senior brother, I won't let him off easily." If only 7th senior brother were here. Xia Yuan murmured a sentence. "Junior sister, don't speak nonsense. Those who betray the sect are heinous criminals. We should confront them directly." Upon hearing this, Lu Zhou shook his head to indicate that it was fine. 7th senior brother is skilled in scheming. He is indeed a rare talent. However, he tends to enjoy manipulating people's hearts and easily gets trapped in his own thoughts. Before finishing his sentence, a transmission bird from a senior sister flew over. Transmission birds are not ordinary birds. They are mutated birds nurtured with spiritual energy in Jinting Mountain. They have become one of the many fierce beasts in the Great Yen world. Xia Yuan flew up and retrieved the letter from the bird, following Lu Zhou's instructions. She then read aloud the contents of the letter. "Master, since the top 10 sects besieged Golden Court Mountain and Luo Changfeng died, the Heavenly Sword sect is thrown into confusion, and everyone is fighting each other to become the next sect leader. Zhou Jifeng failed to become the sect leader after returning to the Heavenly Sword sect. Meanwhile, their former sect leader, Luo Xingkong, has suddenly entered seclusion to cultivate. I suspect he may take this opportunity to break through to the Dao-fusing stage of the nascent divinity tribulation realm. When I was spying on them at night, I discovered that Zhou Jifeng has become disloyal to his section." After finishing the letter, Lu Zhou calmly replied, "The speed is a bit slow. Inform Zhao Yu, and if necessary, she can assist him." Duan Musheng, puzzled, asked, "Zhou Jifeng is our archenemy. Why should we help him?" Lu Zhou didn't answer his question. It was because they needed to be cautious until their loyalty reached a level of 80 or above. Seeing that Lu Zhou remained silent, Duan Musheng awkwardly turned his head and dared not ask further. Suddenly, the system sent a prompt. Ming Shirin completed the assigned task, rescued 105 members of the CI family, rewarded 1,050 merit points, received the worship of 105 people, rewarded 1,050 merit points. Task, slain 82 mounted brigands, rewarded 820 merit points. Lu Zhou's eyes brightened at this news. He hadn't expected to gain so much from this one task. Then the transmission bird brought back a letter from Ming Shirin. "Master, I've rescued all the kidnapped members of the CI family and slain the mounted brigands. Also, I found that the cultivators behind these brigands seem to be related to Old 8's Trigger Ridge gang. I'll look into this matter." The first half of the sentence is about reporting the task, while the latter part is just an excuse to play for a few more days. Lu Zhou naturally understood his intentions but happened to be in a good mood, so he didn't bother arguing with him. Whether he is involved or not, let Old Fourth investigate. With this remark, he returned to his residence. Behind the room, he eagerly spent 1,000 points to purchase the 2 transformed powers avatar. In an instant, a surge of energy entered his body, and his cultivation soared rapidly. After experiencing it, Lu Zhou nodded in satisfaction. Next, he purchased 2 reverse card and green spiritual vortexes appeared in the sky above the evil sky pavilion. It increased his lifespan by 600 days. He planned to use the remaining merit points for a lottery. However, to his disappointment, he received "thank you for your patronage" for 5 consecutive times. He instantly lost interest and didn't continue. With his current cultivation, it would be difficult to leave Jinting Mountain and ensure his safety, so he could only stay temporarily on the mountain. As long as these evildoers were there to protect him, there shouldn't be any major problems. After contemplating his situation, he called Cai Yuaner and instructed her to bring the 4 treasures of the study from the evil sky pavilion to his location. Yuaner, upon receiving the order, didn't dare to delay and immediately prepared everything, carefully grinding ink on the side. Lu Zhou then wrote down the names of his 9 disciples on the white paper one by one. As he wrote, he fell into contemplation. Even the youngest disciple is a powerful divine court realm cultivator. What level of realm has the eldest disciple reached? Was he stronger than Ji Tiandao? If he were with the murderous mind of Yu Zhenghai and Yu Hanrong, how could they allow an old villain like Ji Tiandao to continue existing in this world? Did he keep some tricks and trump cards up his sleeve when he began teaching these disciples? Besides, Ji Tiandao should know very well that each of the disciples he had taught was as savage as a tiger and as fierce as a wolf, and they certainly would betray him one day. Unfortunately, the most critical part of the memory was lost. Ji Tiandao, what were the life-saving items you had kept? While he was lost in thought, he was suddenly interrupted by Cai Yuaner's small hand. You have only taken 9 disciples. With your ability, you can open up Evil Sky Pavilion and Jinting Court Mountain and take tens of thousands of disciples. With so many disciples, no one will dare to disobey you. Those orthodox sects will not dare to provoke us. With just one order from you, the many disciples will wipe out anyone who refuses to submit to us. Those who obey me shall prosper, those who resist me shall perish. Upon hearing these words, Lu Zhou's pupils suddenly lit up. So that's how it is. He then picked up the paper and pondered over it. The bright moon shines over the sea from far away. We share this moment together. All 9 disciples' names were mentioned in the poem, but there was still one missing, the final sure character. If Ji Tiandao had found disciples based on this poem, it meant that the criteria for accepting disciples was not based on talent, but on their names. However, Lu Zhou couldn't understand how Ji Tiandao could have known this poem, which was passed down in his own world. Could it be that Ji Tiandao was also a time traveler?